Studying was very different 30 years ago. We didn't have the benefit of the internet, we didn't have the availability of resource, we didn't have the availability of information that there is today. So I made the best use of it by scraping through a degree and having a really good time and meeting a bunch of interesting people, some of whom are friends for life. I didn't know the city. I found it incredibly windy and cold and a little bit intimidating in those days. There was probably only 2 or 3 decent restaurants. The social life was based around the halls and the pubs and a little bit of campus and the union. I've been working around Leeds or in Leeds on and off for most of the last 30 years, and watching the city change has been quite fascinating. 7 or 8 years ago I was contacted by the alumni office and I started getting involved through the business school a little bit, did a guest lecture about 5 or 6 years ago. As my business life's got a lot quieter, I've had time to put into that connection, and so I've been kind of looking to see how I can re-engage, mentoring, coaching, a little bit of support on the entrepreneur grant schemes, that sort of thing. And at the moment I'm just starting to widen that out to mentoring some of the grant assisted students that are here. Well, back in 2014 I put an entrepreneurship grant into the business school, and the beneficiary of that was the business Joe's involved in with Sarkis.
We set up Sarkis a few years ago, and it was to work in the district energy field, where you have heat networks that supply multiple buildings via a central boiler, and we wanted to work in the space that's around a bit more on the consumer side, so around the metering, the billing, administration, that kind of thing. The basic process that we go through is that we supply an energy network operator with some metering equipment, and that will measure the heat that's going into a particular property, the electricity, it might be the water, hot water, that kind of thing. We'll then supply another piece of equipment which reads those meters automatically and then texts it or emails it into our central server, and from that point we have a piece of custom software that we've designed ourselves which allows the operator of that network to almost become a utility company. So it works out all of the tariffs for them. They can see like who's in which building, how much energy they've consumed, what their bills are, whether there's any debt outstanding, if they're in credit, that kind of thing. We try to reduce the fees that are passed on to consumers by about 74%, which on a heat network where there's high levels of fuel poverty, it's a very important thing to be able to reduce costs even by a few pounds per bill. It really helps them out. The support we've had from Tom and from the guys at Sparker across the university has been instrumental really in getting us to where we are. There's 3 of us that founded the business. We're all young, we're in our 20s. We can cobble together a business plan and we can kind of run at it with all our energy, but you kind of need the expertise and the influence that's only been sort of gathered over a career. It's working with 3 very bright young guys who know where they're going, got boundless energy and drive and enthusiasm, and they know their sector. And we met at the grant awards dinner, and I sort of said, well, if I'm putting a grant into you, if you've got the benefit of the grant, you'll also have the benefit of unlimited coaching and mentoring from me if you want it for the next year, and we'll see where that goes. I'm trying to help them examine how the working relationships in the team are not working when they're not working, and why that is, and then what are the solutions for that. And I can add a little bit of support to help the guys fly the way they're flying, and just make them think about potential risks that are ahead and be planning for them. And then along the way, sort of back end of last summer, they said, well, how do you fancy becoming the chairman? So I'm now chairing the business, and we're getting into a more formal board process of holding monthly meetings and annual strategy forward look, helping out with the business plans and some practical stuff that's you need a bit of grey hair and experience to deal with. I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. It's fun engaging with them. Gives me a chance to put something back in.